notice, what word have you not heard over the last 2 weeks? Affordability. Because I've won. I've won affordability.
If he thinks he has won affordability and the American people aren't struggling, bring that on. Campaign in each of those states and say it, because it's not the reality.
I think that he should rightly note areas where we've seen big improvements, while also addressing the fact that affordability is still a huge issue for many people across the country.
RNC Chair Joe Gruters here, listening to that soundbite. And, of course, that was the president, Governor Andy Beshear of Kentucky, Democrat, and Congressman Kevin Kiley, who's got his hands full after redistricting in California. Joe, what about affordability? I think the key would be making Democrats explain how they'd make anything affordable, but it was smart of them to bring it up.
Listen, they don't even have a plan. Their only plan is to attack the president,
and raise taxes.
And raise taxes. Look what Spanberger did. Listen, they're putting the person who Spanberger and the Democrats in Virginia, after they won running as a moderate, they've introduced all types of tax increases. But that's what you're going to expect. This Republican president, Donald Trump, has literally gone to bat for the average American worker. He's lowered. He's lowered taxes. I mean, look at the big, beautiful bill. I'm a CPA by trade. I talked to my fellow CPA partners back at home. Returns are up 15% plus. People are happy. But gas prices are down. Mortgage rates are down. Egg prices are down. The 4 years of Biden and Bidenflation were such a disaster for this country, but this president has done more in 1 year than most presidents could do in 8, and he's literally lifting that nose up now.
Well, how are you getting the trade message out? Because it was a devastating decision on Friday from the Supreme Court.
Listen, the president, I have full faith and confidence that the president and his administration can turn the corner on this. They have other avenues, other tariffs that they can employ. They've already employed one. And I think that we won't miss a beat. This president is, I think that it's obviously disappointing that the Supreme Court did what they did. But I have full faith and confidence in the president, his team's ability to reverse that course and put the.
You have very little success since the president won, and you took the Senate and the House. Why?
Listen, special elections are special for a reason. I think if you look at some of the states like Virginia and Pennsylvania, some of the elections that we've had, those are blue states. Anger is the driver of a lot of these midterm elections, and so the Democrats are angry because the president's making things happen. He's been delivering for the American people since he got into office, and they've been firing away. And my mission and my job is single focus. I have a single focus. That's to hold the majorities. And so just like in the Van Epps race in Tennessee 7, when it got tight, we jumped in there. We exposed Bain for being, she ran as a moderate just like Spanberger. But, we exposed her. We got Van Epps up and running, and we helped him win. But listen, we're prepared for the midterms. We have a chance to defy history. Only 4 times in the last 150 years has the incumbent party been successful holding power. We could do it because we have better candidates. We have better messaging. We have a better messenger in the president. Right. He's willing to go out there and barnstorm the country. We have more resources. And listen, we're doing things like I spent my almost entire adult life, 22 years as a chairman of the party, going through the minor leagues of party politics. The way you can be successful is by focusing on the basics, and that's registering voters, turning voters out, and protecting the vote. And I will tell you, since I've been an RNC chairman, Michael Whatley did a great job of setting the pace. But we have 114 lawsuits right now. We're taking the hammer anywhere we can on election integrity efforts, and we're trying to do everything we can to make sure we make it as easy as possible to vote, but as hard as possible to cheat.
So a couple of the areas in the Senate that you think you had the best chance to flip. One was New Hampshire. John Sununu had success before, Chris Sununu's older brother, Scott Brown. You want to back who?
Well, listen, the party doesn't back anybody themselves. We let the voters choose, but the president has come out and endorsed John Sununu. John Sununu obviously has had the seat before. He's a superstar. He has a lot of firepower. He's raising the money that he needs, and I think New Hampshire, as a result of his presence in the race, and I always, if you have the president's endorsement, I always say that's a golden ticket.
So you had Rogers, Congressman Rogers, who almost won last time, like Dave McCormick almost won, Dr. Oz won, and then lost to Fetterman. You believe that Rogers has the best chance to flip?
The Rogers, I think, is our best opportunity in the country. By far, He almost won last time. And you look at the dynamics, if you look at the basics, look what's happening in that primary across Michigan. Because of people like Mamdani and AOC having success, these left-wing wackadoo lunatics are pulling their parties so far to the left. If the general election comes and we have a credible, great candidate, Mike Rogers, I think he will be successful in Michigan. I'm very optimistic about his chances. And so I think the Senate is in great shape. We have, you look at Watley, you look at Sununu, you look at Rogers. Watley's probably the toughest hold, maybe the toughest race in the country. He's going against an entrenched Democrat incumbent, but what I say about Wally, the former chairman, is he's a workhorse, he's a grinder, he'll raise the money, and I think he'll win.
Are you going to encourage President Trump to endorse John Cornyn in Texas?
I think that, again, I think the voters ultimately have to decide. But listen, we have to win these races, and I always say
he's got the best chance in the general.
I always say elect the most conservative candidate that could win those races. I always say you can't have Ted Cruz run in Maine, and you can't have Susan Collins run in Texas. We have to win these races. We have to hold the majority, and so for all the primary voters, choose wisely, and I always say follow the president's lead. And
how are you doing money-wise at the RNC?
We're absolutely annihilating the Democrats. We have $105+ million in the bank. Democrats have -4. That's going to be a much bigger margin once according to campaign limits. But we have the vice president as our finance chairman. We're raising tons of money, and we're going to win. Speaking of money, Larry Kudlow's next. RNC Chair Joe Gruters, thanks so much. Appreciate the time. Thank you, Brian. Back in a moment. We'll preview State of the Union.